Well, it's Monday, the third day of February 2025. I'm Jan Erickson, and this is As Above, So Below. Let's go ahead and get started here and take a rune from the Elder Futhark bag. We have Tiwaz. Tiwaz is the rune of the god Tyr, or whoever he was. I don't necessarily see them as gods. I mean, if anything, they were extraterrestrials that were here, or interdimensional beings that were here, or somebody that was here that wasn't from here. And I think that this pantheon of so-called gods, whether it's the Norse ones or any of the other ones, from Egypt or wherever, I don't look at it that way. But I do think that they have a special influence, and I think that the god Tyr, if you will, whoever he was, represents faith and oaths and sacrifice and the spiritual warrior within. It's a male type of or a masculine or projective type of an energy. It looks like an arrow. But if you look at it, it's Laguz forward and reverse. It's also Isa, the straight line down, and then the cap to it there would be Kenaz, focusing the light downwards. So drawing higher awareness into your values and your principles, letting that guide those. So it can also mean legal matters, but that would align it then with the idea of justice, doing what's right, standing up for others. So there could be something about that today for you, where you need to do that, even if it's calling your congressman or congresspeople or senators or something like that. If that's all you can do, or if there's something going on in your personal life where you got to stand up for somebody, they're just, something's happening to them that's not right. Let me get a little closer here so I can see the Geomancy runes and what have I got here? Oh, looks like I've got Tristitia. Now, Tristitia is the complement of Laetitia. And whereas Laetitia's joy, essentially, and imagination and health and laughter, it's very positive. Tristitia, on the other hand, is not. Tristitia is kind of considered an evil influence in the Geomancy set. It's about sorrow and grief and holding grudges. It's being quick-tempered. But it's something that you get stuck in. And so there could be something here where if it's not just on a personal level and has to do just with you, then exercising or invoking Tiwaz into your life can take you out maybe take you out of that feeling of getting stuck in emotions and holding grudges and all of that, sacrificing that for the greater good. Or it could be that you're having to stand up to something like that today. So whether it's internal or you're having to deal with something external in your life, having to stand up for or against condemnation that's not realistic, that's not fair. Maybe it's happening to you, or maybe it's happening to somebody else, and you want to stand up for that person, or you want to stand up for yourself. If someone is holding a grudge against you and there's nothing there, there's no substance to it. It's just they got something in their head, and now they're chattering about it or what have you maybe, and you're having to maybe stand up for yourself here today, if something like that's happening, or on behalf of somebody else. It could be that, but with Tristitia, there's nothing reasonable about it. It's like when you get stuck in a depression or a grief that you just cannot let go of. And you begin to see life through that lens. You could be coming up against somebody else that's doing that, or you may start to feel that happen within, and it may take the spiritual warrior within to allow higher awareness to bring you out of that. So, but let's see where there's different directions this can go, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But let's take a look at the cards here. I've already done some shuffling. Let's do one more time here. And I'll cut the deck and take the lower half and draw 3 cards. Well, we have one from each grouping. We have Temperance from the Major Arcana. We have the King of Wands. We have the Ten of Swords. So we'll talk about that, and then I'm going to take it back, I think, to probably Tiwaz here. And maybe the Ten of Wands is going to align a little bit with Tristitia, possibly. But before we do this, and I didn't do the numerology last time on Thursday. It turned out to be 11, which was sort of dovetailed with everything from that reading. So if we have 17 from Tiwaz and 10 from the Ten of Swords, nothing for the King of Wands because there's no number associated with the court. And then we have 14 for Temperance. We have 41. Let me do that one more time. 17, 10 plus 14. 41. 41 reduces to 5. So there you're looking at change, protection, innovation, and variety. So, but this could be some protection here with the 5, I think, in terms of the numerology for the reading. Let's go ahead. I'm going to type that up here so I don't forget it. But let's go with... let's start with the 10. The Ten of Swords here looks bad, but it really isn't. 10 is about endings and beginnings. If you reduce 1 and 0 to 1, then it's new beginnings. And so here you see, even though you see the person on the ground, on the sand here next to the water's edge with 10 swords piercing its back. So if you look, though, here, you're seeing the back of his head. So his face is turned toward the light. The emotions have clearly settled because you don't see any kind of movement on the water here. And you see the night is lifting. You don't see the sun yet. It hasn't come up yet, but the light's returning. And so it's sort of the dawn of a new day. Now swords is about the air. It reflects the air element. So you're talking about intellect, communication, balance, reason, truth, deception. It could be legal matters, again, like with Tiwaz. But it's having the strength to look toward the light when you've made the realization that you've gone as far as you can go and that the perceptions that you hold just aren't working. And so it's time to let them end and to let them go and to be influenced by the light of spirit, essentially. The dawn of a new day. Well, it's also the dawn of the new day of how you see things. Now, maybe that's happened because you've sought some counsel from the King of Wands. King of Wands is going to be somebody who's an older man in authority. He's knowledgeable, he's wise, he's action-oriented. Wands is an active suit. It represents the fire element, and that's an active principle. You see his little salamander down here, his little guy down there, and you can see them here. You see the Ouroboros there. The salamanders are reaching around to grab their tails. Plus, you see the lion up here as well. And so there's a sense of eternity there. There's a sense of cyclicalness. He can be a warrior. He can be cruel. He can be bigoted, but he can also be very generous with himself. And it could be that he represents the god Tyr in this, perhaps with Tiwaz, where you have to access that inner warrior within to make a change. Again, with 5 also meaning change, not just protection. There has to be a change in perception, and that's going to maybe take some invocation of will to do that. And so either you've gone to speak to someone and to get a different perspective to help order your perspectives, if you will, or you're embracing the qualities of the king within, which are going to align with Tiwaz. And so those 2 cards, I think I'm going to let that happen. You're letting go of that which no longer serves in terms of your mindset. And again, the emotions have smoothed out in the Ten of Swords, and so perhaps the emotions that may be causing the emotional reaction that may be causing the Tristitia energy here for the Geomancy rune, that could just simply mean that you're letting that go and you're invoking the spiritual warrior within to draw down higher awareness into your perceptions and to make the changes that need to be made. And they seem to be significant ones. I mean, with so many here, representing these could be your thoughts and perceptions. There's so many that need to end at this point. And so it's going to take some gathering of the will within. It'd be interesting if we had Nothies here instead of Tiwas, but because that would be the friction within to manifest something new, or invoke your will to manifest something new. But it's the same sort of energy with Tiwas. It's just with Tiwas, it could be that you're having to do that to stand up for yourself or other people here right now, collectively, and to find a better balance. To see things maybe perhaps in a little more moderate way of seeing things, I guess you could say. With temperance, you temper your emotions, you temper your outrage, you temper in other words, you bring things into a little more balance. Here you've got the glyph for fire embedded in with the glyph for earth, the cube there. You see the triangle, that's fire, the cube would be earth. And so you're grounding your will. You're balancing will with fire here, with the angel pouring water from one chalice to the other. You've got one foot on the ground. You can see his toes right there touching the ground, and the other foot in the water. All while we have a new day forming here. The sun is rising between two peaks. And so you have similar kinds of energies at work here. You have, if you're going to have the sun rising here in balance, the sun's doing the same thing here. And you're going to be maybe balancing will with intellect here, so that you can have a more rational response to something, and not allowing perceptions to interfere with the actual truth is. So there's an element of truth in this versus deception with Tiwas. Obviously the same with the Ten of Swords, with the dawn of the new day, and letting go of perceptions and thoughts and the mindset that doesn't serve you anymore. Perhaps it was interfering with standing up for yourself or standing up for others, having a shared type of a value structure where you're standing up against oppression, maybe of some kind. And with Tristitia, oppression is inherent in that, because when you're feeling bad, when you're feeling in such a negative mindset, then maybe you do hold grudges that shouldn't be held. Maybe you do act in ways that are harmful to other people, simply because you're not in a positive state of mind. You're caught up in that negative energy and that negative mindset that perhaps you're letting go of here. And so once you do that and you invoke the Tiwas within, or the spirit warrior within, you're able to stand up for yourself. You're able to stand up for what's right and what you truly believe. Or maybe, again, you're doing this on behalf of others, or you're the stronger voice in a collective of people that are standing up for your rights. That could be another way of seeing that. And lots of things like that are happening within our government here. And I think you'll probably start to see more of this. You're starting to see it now, people rising up and protesting, and members of Congress doing the same, as their function is being taken away in an illegal way. So nothing's legal about it, right? And it's unconstitutional. And so I don't know what's going to happen here in the future, but for right now, there's this feeling, this energy with this reading, whatever this has to do with, whether it's happening collectively to all of us in the country, or whether there's just something going on in your personal life, where it's just time to let go of stuff that's getting in the way of being able to see the truth about something, even if it's just something as simple as that. Perhaps the swords that represent the thoughts and the perceptions you need to get away from have to do with the Tristitia impact on that, where you're just so stuck in negativity that you can't see the forest for the trees, basically. And again, temperance is the answer, where you have a little bit more moderation in how you see things, in terms of how you judge things as well. Not just in how you see them, but how you judge them, until you have all the facts, right? Or you think you do, but then maybe suddenly something's coming into your mind thinking, well, maybe I don't have them, right? So listen to that inner voice today, and that way it can get you maybe back on a better path than what you're on currently. But again, it just depends on what this is, how this manifests for you, how it resonates for you. If it's personal, if it's you needing to stand up for somebody else or for yourself, or if it's some big collective type of a thing where we all have to stand up and say no, or to oppression, or to something that's not legal that's happening to us. Uh, Yours may be the voice of leadership there, in the group that you represent, maybe, and that would be the Tiwa's energy there, to stand up on behalf of others. So which, however it resonates, think about sit with it and see. You may know right away, but otherwise you might need to sit with it, or just sit with it for a few days, or just remember or if it doesn't seem to apply to your life today, just remember it, and maybe sometime here in the near future something will come up for you where you'll remember, well, what was that reading again with Tiwa's in it, and standing up for others and standing up for myself and taking a more moderate view about things instead of being on the extreme ends of things all the time. So anyhow, because Tristitia is defining that as extreme negativity. So anyhow, thanks for watching. Check out the blog over at Stepping Aside. The web address there is imsteppingaside.com. Everything came up on the blog for this week on Sunday, so give that a look if you would. I'm going to do the little reading notes. I put the reading notes up for both readings I do each week. I'll write that up here in a little bit. We've got to go up and get some gas in a can for the snowblower because we're supposed to get a bunch of snow. And with an 800-foot driveway, we have to be able to get out of it. So we have to be able to get all that out of there so we can go to the store and stuff. So anyway, thanks for watching. And if I don't get this right up on the blog right away, it's because we're doing that. Otherwise, it'll be up here in a few minutes. And come back again on Thursday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.